Welcome to the channel Think Again. Set apart people, always desiring truth.
Hallelujah, praise Yah always. What is happening here in Israel, God's people under attack. And I've seen this article, South Africans killed in Israel-Palestinian conflict. And it goes on to say, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, says it's been notified that 2 South Africans have been killed in the conflicts currently in the Middle East. In the early hours of Saturday morning, the militant wing of Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel from Gaza. You see, God's people are attacked on the Sabbath day by the wicked. Jesus said, pray that your flight be not in the winter or on the Sabbath day. The wicked know when to attack the people of God because they're in time, in sovereign time and sanctification time with the Lord their God, Yahweh, who is there to set the way forward in their lives and to reconcile them with the Father. A time of family time. The wicked wants to destroy the covenant that God made with his people. See these videos on the war on Israel.
The Israel-Hamas war has entered its 6th day. In these 6 days, we've seen civilians being taken hostage, children getting brutally killed, families being separated, livelihoods destroyed. And just when we think we've seen enough, that the worst of this war is behind us, more distressing images of the war emerge. Images like these. They're from Israel's Be'eri kibbutz. They show Hamas fighters dragging people, most of them happen to be women, who were kidnapped from their homes. Video number 2. This one is from the city of Khan Yunis in Gaza. It shows a woman collapsing in grief, unable to come to terms with the reality after losing her entire family in an airstrike. Video number 3 is from Jerusalem. It shows Israeli families holding funerals for the soldiers who got killed in the war. They could be seen weeping as the funeral prayers are read. Video number 4, it's from Gaza City. It shows a hospital overflowing with patients. Some of them are seen being treated on stretchers. Some of them are lying unconscious on the floor, and some are screaming in pain as doctors tend to their wounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, over 3 millennia ago, our great leader Moses addressed the people of Israel as they were about to enter the Promised Land. He said that the people's fate would be determined by the choice they made between the blessing and the curse. That same choice has echoed down the ages, not just for the people of Israel, but for all humanity, that we are at the cusp of an even more dramatic breakthrough. An historic peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Such a peace will go a long way to ending the Arab-Israeli conflict. It will enhance the prospects of peace with the Palestinians. Understand the magnitude of the transformation that we seek to advance. Let me show you a map of the Middle East in 1948, the year Israel was established. Here's Israel in 1948. It's a tiny country, isolated, surrounded by a hostile Arab world. In our first 70 years, we made peace with Egypt and Jordan, And then in 2020, we made the Abraham Accords, peace with another 4 Arab states. Now look at what happens when we make peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel. The whole Middle East changes. We tear down the walls of enmity. We bring the possibility of prosperity and peace to this entire region, but we do something else. You know, a few years ago, I stood here with a red marker to show the curse, a great curse, the curse of a nuclear Iran. But today I bring this marker to show a great blessing, the blessing of a new Middle East between Israel, Saudi Arabia, and our other neighbors. We will not only bring down barriers between Israel and our neighbors, we'll build a new corridor of peace and prosperity that connects Asia through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, to Europe. This is an extraordinary change, a monumental change, another pivot of history.
Israel has declared it is at war after Hamas militants confirmed they fired thousands of rockets from Gaza overnight in a major multi-front surprise attack.
Hamas has launched a surprise attack within Israel's borders overnight.
If we look at that video again, you can see that there's a man who is looking up into the sky. He's seen something. Now, we don't know exactly what he's looking at.
Israel is at war.
Israel says it's at war.
What is the purpose of this war? They are setting this war up so that from this war they can go into the direction of peace, because we have to start order out of chaos. That is their goal.
We are here together with many other groups in support of Palestine. We promote the end of this occupation, and especially now when there's so much news going around about what is unfolding in Palestine. We have to understand that nothing that we witness today starts today. This is a conflict which started 75 years ago. Before the invention of Zionism, before this idea of this Jewish state in Palestine, Jews lived in peace as a minority amongst a majority of Muslims, and we didn't have a problem. We were respected and we were protected by the Muslims. Once this invention of Zionism came in, it destroyed everything. By this occupation, which is for decades oppressing an entire people, an indigenous population, which unfortunately destroyed the peace and led into this bloody conflict on the account of all peoples involved. If we are truly concerned of tragedies, if we are truly concerned of bloodshed, if we are truly concerned of suffering of all sides involved, we have to realize, we have to study what is behind all of this, what is the root cause of this conflict. This is not a war based on the difference of religion. We lived in peace, as I said, we lived in peace despite any differences of our religions, and still we lived in peace. It is a purely political conflict. It's a purely Zionist movement which happens to be in total contrast of Judaism. In other words, the Zionist side of the conflict, the Israeli side of the conflict, has nothing to do with the Jewish religion other than it is in total contrast of the Jewish religion. It does not represent the Jewish religion. Unfortunately, the Jewish religion is being misused by people who choose not to follow that religion, and still they dare to misuse that religion to condone all crimes forbidden by that very religion.
This war is part of the end-time delusion, because the Bible says many will believe a lie. You notice how many Christians are commenting about Israel, that they stand with Israel. But if you listen to their preaching is against Israel. They say that the covenants and the commandments of God were given to the Jews. It's not for Christians. They're on the side of the cross. So what connection do they have with Israel when they believe that the Jews have not accepted Christ? So clearly there's no part of Israel with them. It's a strong delusion. We know there has to be 3 world wars in order for things to be fulfilled. So this is a lead up to that. They're using this war to bring sudden peace. And when there's sudden peace, quickly there will come destruction. It has to be set up in such a way that you play the one side with the other side. And so Christianity is also like that. It says it stands with Israel, but it doesn't stand with Israel because it doesn't keep the commandments of God. It despises the commands, especially the Sabbath. It is against Israel. Spiritually, it's against Israel. So it tends to make it seem like it's one with Israel because its root faith comes from Israel, but yet it denies the Lord Yahweh. There's even preachers preaching that Yahweh is evil and Jesus is their God. That Jesus that they believe is not the Jesus of the Bible. It's a Jesus that they made up in their minds. Therefore, they have received a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So therefore, the prophecies of God from the scriptures will never be given to those type of people because they full well reject the creator of heaven and earth. For in just 6 days, the Lord made everything and rested the seventh day.
Hello, Marietka. Good to see you on here. So we're doing great. We are, of course, we're doing fine. We're here in America. It comes and goes for the emotion for us, right? Like just thinking about our princess who, when we get off the phone and she's doing great, we're doing great. And then we make the mistake of watching the news or following along with the news, and then it hits us real hard again. And it's very hard to be 6,000 miles away from the Galilee. And I wanted to just talk a little bit about, first of all, here's our kids who are this is a picture we took in June. Here's a picture we took in June here of our kids. My wife gave birth to these kids, by the way. But here's our kids we took across the street. She did all the work. And we're just grateful for you all praying for our daughter, our Princess Emma. She is doing pretty good right now at her base, and we're just believing for God's hand over her. But just a little statistics. First of all, this is a little bit of an update. Jeannie and I aren't the news people. We just can't watch. It's hard for us to watch all the news. So I'll tell you what we do know. We know a lot of things that aren't on the news, but that might be on the news. We don't know if they're on the news or not, just from people calling us. I got a call from Chaim Mailspin this morning, messaging me. This is him with his daughter Hadar and his son Nadav. Of course, he has another son, Mattia, in a different picture. This is the only one I put up here now. Sorry, but Chaim is doing good. He's in a place where it's the aftermath, and he said he described it to me, and it's gruesome. It's basically the people who came and took the lives of our people are they no longer exist, but they are strewn about where he is, and he was describing it to me, and it's gruesome. It's gruesome there. But I want to give you a quick status. Hananya is doing okay. Last we checked, Hananya. This is a picture of Hananya with his wife, India. He's like a little brother to me. This is him leaving, I think, 2 days ago to head to the front lines. And of course, closer to home is our princess, who she's doing well. Jeannie just got off the phone with Emma. She's doing well, thank God, and in good spirits. And it comes and goes, the heaviness of what happened. And really, she was just telling us, what'd she say, a quarter or a third?
Yeah, a third to a quarter of the people that are with her on the base have either lost people or have someone that's missing, kidnapped.
Yeah, so it's really hard for Emma right now because, yeah, if you didn't hear Jeannie, a third or at least a quarter of people on her base had either lost loved ones or they're missing. So it's really emotional at the base. I just want to do these stats right now. This is fairly up to date right now. Stand With Us posted this, and 5,000 rockets fired from Gaza, 1,200 lives lost, soldiers and mostly civilians, really. 3,000 plus injured, over 150 kidnapped. So you guys have things to pray for. We're just grateful for all of you. I've been getting inundated. Jeannie's been getting inundated with messages from you all, and just thank you. Thank you so much. It's so hard for us. My sister, Shoshana, she's staying in our village where she also lives, and she was ordered to go to her bomb shelter today for some time, and there was threats of aircraft, but the good news... Yeah, it could be drones. The good news was it was a false alarm, or what did they say?
Some say it was a false alarm.
Yeah, so in the north, there wasn't a full infiltration of the skies, but there was alarms all around the north, including Poria, our village where our house is. You know, we're still here in America right now with the boys. But my sister is out of the bomb shelter. She's fine. And all of our friends in the Golan has been spending a lot of time in the bomb shelter. My son Shuki, his close friend's brother was shot twice. And you guys saw that peace celebration festival, bunch of young kids. It was a peace festival near Gaza, and they're the ones that was a number of people slaughtered in any area. A bunch of teenagers and young adults, I think mostly young adults, were there celebrating music, and it was a peace festival. And the people that they were trying to celebrate peace for, Gaza, came across and killed hundreds of them. And my friend, my son Shuki's friend, talked to my son and said his brother was shot twice. It's not critical. He's fine. But the brother was telling his stories, and my son's friend was telling him some of the stories, and he said, I'll have to tell you the rest in person. I just can't say it over the phone. It's